Then these men came by agreement and found Daniel making petition and plea before his God. Then they came near and said before the king concerning the injunction, O king, did you not sign an injunction that anyone who makes petition to any god or man within 30 days except to you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing stands fast according to the laws of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be revoked. Then they answered and said before the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, O king, or to the injunction you have signed, but makes his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was much distressed, and set his mind to deliver Daniel, and he labored till the sun went down to rescue him. Then these men came by agreement to the king and said to the king, Know, O king, that it is the law of the Medes and Persians that no injunction or ordinance that the king establishes can be changed. Then the king commanded, and Daniel was brought and cast into the den of lions. The king declared to Daniel, May your God whom you serve continually deliver you. And a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den. And the king sealed it with his own sign and with the signet of his lords, that nothing might be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting. No diversion was brought to him, and fled from him. Then at break of day, the king arose and went in haste to the den of lions. As he came near to the den where Daniel was, he cried out in a tone of anguish. The king declares to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, who has your God whom you serve continually been able to deliver you from the lions? Then Daniel said to the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angels and shut the lion's mouth, and they have not harmed me, because I was found blameless before him and also before you. O king, I have done no harm. Then the king was exceedingly glad and commanded that Daniel be taken out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no kind of harm was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. And the king commanded, and those men who had maliciously accused Daniel were brought and cast into the den of lions, they, their children, and their wives. And before they reached the bottom of the den, the lions overpowered them and broke all their bones. The king,
in pieces.
Then King Darius wrote to all the people, nations, and language that dwell on the earth, Peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that in all my royal dominion, people are to tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed, and his dominion shall be to the end. He delivers and rescues. He works his works, sign and wonders in heaven and on earth. He who has saved Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian.
So, he had done nothing wrong. He prayed to God like he did every single day, 3 times a day. And the evil people who wanted him dead, their children, their wives, all perished by the lions. For jealousy. Wow, jealousy. It can hurt you.
Well, this is very true, Christina, but what I said earlier is also true. That considering what he was in charge of, I mean, the whole book is so different in the continuity of what God has done and expects, etc., etc. It's an amazing thing. And it's an amazing thing that he was in charge of these occult practices, and yet he's called righteous. It's just
he wasn't in charge of the cult practice.
Yes, he was.
He was in charge of the people. The people did what they were supposed to do, but the ones who wanted to follow him could follow him. I mean, they keep saying,
No.
Daniel's God, for he is the living God. He will endure forever, is what this king just said. So I'm sure behind the scenes that we're not getting is people who really want to follow Daniel and his living king, followed Daniel and his living God and king. Those who didn't, Daniel just pushed off to the side.
The queen, because of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet hall, and the queen declared, O king, live forever. Let not your thoughts alarm you or your color change. There is a man in your kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. In the days of your father, light and understanding and wisdom like the wisdom of the gods were found in him. And King Nebuchadnezzar, your father the king, made him chief of the magicians, enchanters, and Chaldeans and astrologers.
Yeah, made him chief over those people.
He was in charge
of those people.
Right.
Not the cult itself.
No.
People.
Don't play the game. You're playing a game.
No, you're not listening to your words.
No.
Yeah, because you didn't hear what I said. I said he wasn't in charge of the cult. He was in charge of the people. You're the one who keeps telling me no. And you just read it. He's in charge of the people. Not what they do.
This is why, as I've said, open your mind. In the history of Christianity, when there is a problem, it is called a Babylonian captivity. I am just saying, and I understand that Daniel was considered righteous. It's in the Bible. I get that. I'm not contradicting or saying you're wrong. I'm saying this is a fuller picture than we find almost anywhere else in Scripture.
I know.
It's more complex.
And all I said,
that's all I'm saying.
He was in charge of the people.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So we'll end on a happy note. All right, friends, you've heard the controversy. When the various Christian groups like the Catholic Church were in captivity, when basically Rome was taken over, they called it the Babylonian captivity. Now, Christina's writing what she says. She's a good defender. All I'm saying is it's all in the mix. And this is why it is, of all the books of Scripture, it's not that, I don't know if it's the strangest book, but there's just a lot of things here that if you isolate them and put them in other places,